Okay, so this part has the main body, or at least the shapes that you're trying to do, this little squid character. So I take the pen tool, and I figure that would be the easiest approach. Again, you're trying to create the least amount of points as you go through this to create this shape. And again, the corner point is going to be set by clicking on it. I'm going to click off on the white and turn that off just so I can see the stroke coming around, setting the corner point there. And down below this part here. So as I click and drag, it's getting this curved section here. Command minus. And just using the space bar just to come up with this piece. So I'm coming at the midpoint of this shape, putting the corner there. And again, just kind of building this up as it goes. So I can set the curve to here, using the space bar, just trying to make one continuous shape all the way around. Like that. So that becomes this particular piece. Now we'll color this later, but taking a look at it, trying to give that particular selection. This little outside piece that has this liquid section, I'm just going to click and use the pencil tool and wrap it right around there. Makes it a little bit easier. But you can use the pen tool as well. I'm just going to overlap it and bring it back and cut that shape right off there. So that gives me that particular piece. If this part is too sharp, I'm just going to click on this part and I can drag this curve, and you can see the curve point gives this little widget, makes it into a selection. So I'll give this piece a little color, and this guy a little color, and just select the both of them. I'm going to use the shape builder right here, and when you click on it, it turns to a plus sign or minus. Depending on which direction you drag, that's going to be the color that it takes off to. Okay? So there you go with the initial point, initial selection. Same with down here, there's also this little extra piece right here. Curves it around. And that gives me this selection. If I want to clip that off, I'm just going to use the box tool right there and click on a color and use the shape builder here. So here it's going to be the option and just clipping that piece off to make that section. Okay? So you can kind of see it's just slowly building that part. Looks like it's the same selection up here, so I'll do the pencil tool because it kind of wraps it around right like that. And here's the shape tool. And here's that section. So now it has these different pieces. Now over the top there's these little segments. I can do the same thing with the pen tool to create these. Simply shift keying that section and taking that part off. That's going to be the record button. So while it's selected, I can come up here, I can make it a little bit thicker. I can change the coloring. And once I have it, I'm just going to option and duplicate a copy over here and just come to the outside section of this, and it turns to a double-headed arrow, lets me rotate it and bump it up into position. So it's just kind of these little marks showing the record, and click here. Again, if I want to take off the fill, I can see it has a couple of these little star pieces here. I can do the same with the pen tool on the star shape. And just swap the color. And you can always just pick the color from the chart and just option duplicate it here. Now when this is, it's the same star, but you can do a couple things. You can rotate it on here. You can just drag this piece across the center like that. And it gives you kind of a similar star shape as it goes through it. Again, here's the outside edge. Give it a color. Try a blue. And here's where you can use some of the gradients. I can click on the gradient tool. Gives you the freeform gradient. Take a moment to load that in. So here's the coloring for it, for this character. So let's take a look at it here, first of all. So here's the the gradient. You can go into the swatches to get some different colors. So the swatches panel has a library down at the bottom. Gives me a couple gradients here. Let's try a green one, for example. Try this guy here. Okay, and then into the gradient palette. If you want to color this differently, you can set yourself up with that particular section. So it just gives you a little bit of a color choice to work with. Okay. And again, as you click on some of these gradients, I open them up, and it gives me a little bit of a look to it. It's in the gradient library, so I can actually click on this and make some of these shapes have different colors. So I'm just experimenting with these, and then up at the top it has a radial gradient, and it also has the gradient freeform. So when you take a look at this one, here's the gradient itself and the gradient tool here. So you can click on it that way. You can actually add the freeform section to it, and this will let you change the colors and the location of this section. So it's just another way to color your image. See what you can do with the highlighting of that. Adjusting it there. And then once you have it, take a look at the layers panel again. So here, if I shift here, all these little spots, I can take the stroke right off of it. And I might want to actually put a little segment behind it. Put it all the way in the background there. That gives you some of the color choices. And then the layers panel, when you're ready, just click off of it. Turn this one off. Okay. Hit the tab key. Create that image right there.